Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Third installment of Scott Selections here for Monday, July 17th. For again, today's play of the day. Quick recap what happened yesterday. We had a nice winner in baseball at the Astros. Team total over 4.5 runs at -140 on BetMGM. The Astros had a bunch of chances in the entire game. They stranded basically everybody on base for the first 5 innings, but then luckily the Angels bullpen came in and blew the entire game. Houston's offense exploded, scored 9 runs, and we cashed this bet pretty easily. So look for the winner here on Monday. And for today's play today, going to go to a matchup between the Tigers and the Royals, taking place at around 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And for this game, I'm going to take the first five under 5.5 runs at -125 on BetMGM. Time recording of 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Covering why we're going to take the first five under in this game. First reason, both offenses really bad, especially in the first 5 innings. The Royals are averaging just 1.97 runs per game in the first 5 innings, which is the fewest in the league. The Tigers, not that far ahead. Detroit is only averaging 2.31 runs per game in the first 5 innings, which is the fifth fewest in the league. So two bottom five offenses in the first 5 innings are against each other, and now the first five total is 5.5. That does seem very oddly high. And I do think looking at the actual recent performances from these offenses, that doesn't exactly instill much confidence in expecting a high scoring game. So to go through the recent performances, the Tigers have scored less than 4 runs in 4 of their last 6 games, including a shutout loss yesterday against Seattle. And the Royals were good yesterday offensively, but they have not been good offensively on a consistent basis, as the Royals have scored less than 4 runs in 6 of their last 9 games. Plus, the pitching matchup is pretty interesting because Manning is pitching for Detroit, and he's quietly been pretty good in his last couple outings. Last 3 starts, 17 to third innings pitched, a 3.12 ERA. He was also the starter for the combined no-hitter last Saturday against the Blue Jays. So Manning was very good his last time out, and I think that he might be in line for a good outing here because Kansas City's faced him a decent amount of the time, 36 career plate appearances by the active batters. They have a 242 batting average and a 306 on base percentage, which is decent, not great, but the point is Manning's numbers have been solid. Kansas City's offense is one of the worst in the league. I think he might be in line to give up 1 or 2 earned in this matchup. Maybe 0, but probably closer to 1 or 2. Meanwhile, you have the scary pitcher for this matchup, which is Jordan Lyles. And I know that people have blindly faded Lyles all season long, and you've made a lot of money because Kansas City cannot win whenever he pitches. However, you look at the actual numbers for Lyles recently, and the last 3 starts, he has not been that bad. The last 3 starts, roughly a 4.2 ERA. So it's not great per se, but he has gotten better as the season has progressed. And the main flaw with Lyles' season so far is his inability to keep the ball in the ballpark. He gives up a lot of home runs. And to go through the actual numbers regarding that, Lyles has allowed 20 home runs this season, which is tied for the seventh most in the league. And I bring it up because this actually should be a decent matchup for him because the Tigers are the worst power hitting team in the league. The Tigers rank dead last in home runs per game. So I do think, once again, if Lyles can keep the ball in the ballpark, he is in line to actually pitch pretty well. And he did that against the Tigers about a month ago. He pitched against Detroit on June 19th, 6 innings, 3 earned, and no home runs allowed. So I do think, once again, he could be in line for a pretty good performance here because of the fact that Detroit really can't capitalize on the main area that Lyles struggles in. And if he can keep the ball in the ballpark, I have questions if Detroit can actually chain together enough hits to score a decent amount of runs. But to go through the actual weather for this game, according to Ballpark Pal, the wind is blowing in home runs. So the point is, the weather should also help limit a couple of home runs. But if Lyles can keep the ball in the ballpark, and if Manning can keep pitching the way he's been pitching for the last couple of weeks, 5.5 just seems too high to me. These two offenses are really, really bad. And I do think, once again, for the wind blowing in, a first five total of 5.5 just seems insane to me. I think a lot of it's based on reputation because Lyles has been a blind fade for the public all season long, and it's worked. But I do think, once again, you're looking at Lyles' recent form and the fact that he's been pitching better, only gave up 1 earned in his last start against Cleveland, for example. I do think that this total's too high. A couple ways to get there. Manning pitches a gem. Maybe Lyles gives up a few runs and you get there. Vice versa happens, or maybe you meet in the middle and you see some type of 3-2 game through 5 innings. But the point is, 5.5 with these offenses is too high, and I'm going to go with the unders. Play that once again here for Monday, July 17th is going to be on the Tigers and Royals first five under 5.5 runs at -125 on BetMGM. Bye.